You asked for?
Everyone knows I love you.
Well, you should. That should be a social term.
No, everyone knows I love you.
Negative
There's
response.
also about the choices in the calf. There's also about that. There's a whole spiel about the food as well.
Are you telling me Jews complain about the food? Should I be shocked at this point? I mean, what should I be doing? People like, are you telling, when the Jewish people left Egypt, all they did was complain about the food and the water. They didn't complain about the water. Okay, not having it, to be fair. There's a reason why. That's why Persians hit each other with scallions on Pesach at Pesach Seder. Did you know that? They go around, right?
Yeah.
Persians, they go around, they hit each other with scallions. And the reason is, because when they left Egypt, they complained to Moses there wasn't enough food selection. They said, we don't have, I'll tell you why. Because we don't have watermelons, avatiach, we don't have shum, garlic, we don't have cucumbers, we don't have meat, we don't have onions, batzal. So we take the onions they complained about, and we hit them like, oh, this is what you want, here, take it like this. So why not watermelon? Because you'd kill your grandmother if you hit it with a watermelon, wouldn't you, Rachel? Which would be funny at a Pesach Seder, but not very recommended. That's actually why. So I'm not surprised complaining about the food.
Then there are also like some nice events. Like, I don't know, girls like want to make like a whole baby shower for the cafeteria woman and like.
That's nice.
Yeah, like some like really nice ones.
There's always some good people want to bring the goodness into the.
When you go into Sterling, the first pinned post is a post by one of the admins saying like, this is not a group for bullying, whatever, but
It worked, did it?
Wow.
Wow.
I think you need to see like the rest of like post in why you market.
Okay.
That's awesome.
Just add me. Okay, page 105. Come on. Let's go. So we know that a extra neshama is given. Where does this idea come from? That an extra soul is given to a person on Shabbat. And what do you do with it? Does anyone know what you do with it, by the way? Do you know what it's for? I never heard this idea before. It's a very famous idea.
Yeah, I remember that.
Do you know what it's for?
There's like a couple sources on it. Rabbi Nachman says something.
He does?
Yeah. What page? Later.
105. It's actually to help you eat more. That's what it does. That's why you eat more on Shabbat. That's what Rashi says. It's actually from this, you hear that famous idea, which actually isn't so true, that you don't put on weight on Shabbat. You heard this?
Yeah.
Right. Because it's a misunderstanding of this idea we're looking at. You put on weight on Shabbat. Actually, Motzei Shabbat, you only realize you can't weigh yourself on Shabbat. On Motzei Shabbat, it kicks in. Yes?
Is it the same neshama that goes away when you do besamim?
Absolutely. It's all related, isn't it? It goes away. You actually smell the spices, the basamim, Motzei Shabbat, to relieve you because your neshama has left you. That's what you're trying to. That's why you smell.
Its principal function is to help you eat.
Yes, according to Rashi, yeah. Eat more. Eat more, yeah.
wait, so if you don't smell the sun at Havdalah, then you have your extra neshama until the next day?
No, that'd be nice there, right? I want something I'm going to eat for the entire week. No. You don't have it. It's there to revive you. The idea of smelling things revives a person's spirit. Actually, there's a lot written on this. It's interesting that of all the things that were affected in Gan Eden, when Adam and Eve sinned, they saw and they heard and they tasted and they touched, right, the fruit, but they never smelt. So the sense of smell was never affected. So that sense of smell is actually the reach, the sense of smell is never affected. Okay, so something very pure and spiritual. That's why when you smell something, it takes you back faster, memory-wise, than anything else. You know? The whole talk about the idea of smelling. Actually, one way to know the Mashiach, you know what's in Mashiach class? You were Mashiach class, Sarah? You did Mashiach with me? We spoke about the sense of smell. One of the ways they know whether Mashiach is Mashiach is that he has a special prophetic sense of smell. He's going to know things by a sense of smell. What? You can tell what tribe you're from. Very
He's
good.
gonna have superpowers.
Say what?
Is he gonna have superpowers?
Well, he's not Superman. He's going to be Mashiach. Yes, he will have certain powers. Prophetic, yeah. So no, smelling is just there to help you. Hello? It's there to help you. It doesn't really help you keep your neshama. You know? It's just because it leaves you, as we shall see. Okay, let's have a look. Haperka Kodem Lamadnu. We've learned about the idea of Kedusha Shabbat, V'haneshama Yater, and the extra soul. Now we're going to figure out, he says, the depth of what an extra soul is really all about. Says the Gemara, B'Mesechet Beitza, Amar Rav Shimon ben Lakish. This is Reish Lakish. Anyone heard of Reish Lakish?
Yeah.
Do you know what he did before he was a great rabbi? He was a thief, a bandit. And he did tshuva, God bless you, and became a great rabbi. And he says the following, Neshama Yetera, an extra soul, no Tenekarish Baruch Hu Ba'adam Erev Shabbat, is given to a Jewish person on Erev Shabbat. Ulam Motzei Shabbat, here it is, Daniel says, Notlin Otamenu, it is taken away from that person. Shnei Emar, and look at the fascinating verse from the Torah that Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish, Reish Lakish, uses to prove this idea. It says, Shabbat vayinafash. Vayinafash. I'm on page 105, second paragraph. It says Shabbat, right? Vayinafash, right? Which means literally Shabbat, and he rested. Vayinafash, right? His soul was rested. Says Reish Lakish a very interesting diuk in this, and he says Kevan sheshavat oy avda nefesh. Since he's leaving Shabbat, he takes the word vayinafash and he cuts it up like this. Oy nefesh. Oy nefesh. What does oy mean? What does oy mean? Does anyone have a Jewish grandmother? What's oy? Oy! Oy! Nefesh. My soul is left. Oy, my nefesh is in trouble because it's Motzei Shabbat. So it's a clever reading of vayinafash to read oy nefesh. Right? The idea is on Shabbos you get vayinafash, but Motzei Shabbos it becomes oy nefesh. My soul is affected because the extra soul I was given on Shabbat has left. And that gives difficulty. That's what Rav Shimon ben Lakish says. Right? Kevan sheshavas oy avda nefesh. That's Rav Shimon ben Lakish in the Gemara in Beitza. Tet Zayin Amud Aleph. Fascinating, right? So that's his proof. Okay, that Motzei Shabbos. By the way, this is why Saturday night a big night to go out. Everyone goes out Saturday night. Let's go Saturday night. You know, suddenly you get married, have kids, you go straight to bed. Right? But when you're still young, because no, there's something missing in a person after Shabbat, and they want to fill in that void, and so they all go out. You've got to fill that void in, right? That's what it's about. I always get nauseous Motzei Shabbos. I don't know what it is. I like I ate too much on Shabbos itself, right? But I always, even growing up, I was nauseous Motzei Shabbos, right? So that's Shabbat vayinafash. Can everyone see the play over there? Shabbat, he rested. That's from the pasuk in the Torah, and then it says, "Oy nefesh, oy, my soul is now depleted because it's Motzei Shabbat, and my extra soul has left." That's what Reish Lakish says. Rashi mefarisham. So Rashi explains over there. Vayinafash is the pasuk. Shabbat vayinafash. Okay? He's saying inside the word vayinafash are two words, and they're teaching us something else. Oy nefesh. You get it? You sure? Says Rashi, mefarisham shemuhut haneshama seiri. What is the muhut? What does muhut mean, or the muhus? The essence. The essence. Not the SS, the essence. He says, Rochav leiv l'menucha u'lesimcha. It gives you an expanse of the heart for rest and happiness. This extra soul allows you to be happy. God is going to invest, or does invest in us on Erev Shabbat, right? If we are makabel Shabbat correctly, it's actually during tefillah, or as you light the candles, as Shabbat comes in, you're given a different soul, or he actually says an expanded soul. Rochev leiv. Your heart is opened up, l'menucha for rest, or l'simcha for happiness. Immediately when Shabbat comes in, you should feel different. Right? V'liot patuach l'revacha. And now you're open, right? V'yachal, to eat, v'yishta, and to drink, v'ein nafsho ketza'alav. And since you are happier, what do people do when they're happy? They eat and they drink. Right? He's saying, why do we eat so much and drink so much in Shabbat? Why do we it becomes accepted and understood? And it's because the neshama is allowing you to do it. It's allowing you to like open up and to enjoy and have a good time. That's what he's saying. That's Mefurish Rashi. What is the extra soul for? To make you happy so you can eat and drink, and that is what this soul gives you. Somehow. I don't know how souls work. That's beyond my pay grade. But that's Rashi, and that's Reish Lakish on the Gemara. Yeah? So, let's halfway down the page. Hanashami Teira gam notenet koch ladam. It also does something else. It gives a person power, strength. Right? As the Gemara says, Anshe Mamad, there used to be the Anshe Mamad, the Rocha Yu Mitanim Arba Taniot. Certain people, basically, the Gemara in Tanit says, used to fast 4 days in a week. Okay? Why they would do this is for whatever reason. However, beyond Rishon La Yumatanin, but these people would fast a lot as a way of coming close to God. This isn't the way to do it nowadays, but that's what they used to do. They used to fast and stop eating, right? He says these people would never fast on a Sunday. They would never fast on a Sunday. Why? Mishum Shav Motzei Shabbat. I'll tell you why. Because on Motzei Shabbat, Notlin Maha Adam, it is taken from a person, Neshama Yasera, the extra soul. So the extra soul was taken from the person on Motzei Shabbat. So these people used to fast during the week, would never fast on a Sunday because they were weakened. They were weakened by the loss of their soul. And on Sunday they were weak, they would have to eat. They would have to eat on Sunday. This explains why so many people like sleep right through Sunday, yeah? Many people, Sunday starts like Sunday afternoon. Motzei Shabbos goes straight to like the afternoon. Right? Upirish Rashi, says Rashi, V'havei chalash, they were weakened. They were weakened Motzei Shabbat. They got so much out of it. I don't know if we feel this nowadays. But they were so weakened because the neshama left them that Sunday came, we got to eat. We can't fast today. But you thought differently. They fast, they've eaten the day before. They can fast today. Like, no. The neshama leaving me, I've depleted myself, I'm weak. That's Rashi. Have chalash. Rabbeinu Hananel says, one of the commentaries in the Gemara on the side, Mipnei neshama yetera shenitla la'adam b'Shabbat. This is all because of the extra soul that's given to a person on Shabbat. Kedei le'echol, to eat, v'lishtot, and to drink, v'lismoach, and to be happy, v'litaneg, and to enjoy. Kegibor, see what he says? V'shtiyat hayayin, and drink wine. V'im ein bo koach gadol, and if they don't have great strength, ein bo yacholet lishtot. Right? Of a Motzei Shabbat, right? Because they didn't have. If you're not feeling strong, you can't drink. If you're being weak and schleppy, you can't. So Hashem gives you the extra. According to Rabbeinu Hananel, gives the extra neshama so you can drink alcohol. Isn't that wild? Not you, because you're under 21. Okay. So he says. So Hashem gives an extra neshama so you can have the power to drink, right? V'nishtayer, right? Sheikach, so you can keep the strength. Lefikach. And Yechult. Therefore, these people, when the Shama Sera is taken away, they were weakened. Sunday comes, we got to eat, we can't fast. It's not good for us, we're unable to do it.
Who were fasting for this?
Certain group called the Anshe Ma'amad. Certain group, the Gemara speaks of these peoples that existed among the Jewish people. Okay, I'm not sure exactly who they are, but they're the ones who used to do this. Okay. So the point is that people felt this. They used to feel something wasn't right. Motzei Shabbat. Used to feel something wasn't there. Okay. Ra'inu b'divrei Rashi. That's what Rashi says. Sheneshama etera mitbatat b'kach she'adam yochol lechol v'lishtot bli nafsho kotalav. Now, Rashi had said already that the extra soul is given to us so that when we eat, we don't feel gross. You shouldn't feel gross. During the week, you overeat. You know, you go to a restaurant, you overeat, you're like, you know. On Shabbat, we're able to eat and drink, and we shouldn't feel like, Motzei Shabbos we feel, but on Shabbat you don't feel, Okay, that's Rashi. Well, he didn't say that precisely, but that's his point. This is a question. So there's a question on Rashi. Kasha al Kaf Rav Chaim Freelander. Yesh Lavi says, we have to understand page 106 at the top. Haloi, gami matachol yesh ochlim harbev en katzim achal. 1 second. But people do eat a lot during the week and don't feel disgusting and gross. Right? People overeat all the time and don't feel so bad sometimes. Sometimes do something. So what's going on over here? Something deeper that's happening over here. Ella, he says, Mites Rav Chaim, he answers, Eina Kavana Leguf. Okay, this is not talking about the body. It's not talking about the body, right? Ella lenefesh. It says the soul she'ena katsa bochel. You see, sometimes when a person overeats, their body feels it, but the whole soul, the whole personality becomes gross because of it, right? You end up doing bad things, you overeat, you overdrink, you end up doing things you shouldn't be doing. That's your body, but the soul itself gets affected, right, by such behavior. Right? That is the because the natural state of a person is physical. But however, a person wants to get the crown of Torah, which is a nice way of saying want to be a spiritual person, right? But they want to feel spiritual inside. You have to lessen how much they eat and how much they enjoy olam hazeh. Can he or medet meneged, because it stands against spirituality. Mafri of soteret l'ruchniot. Right? You overdo the physical, the spiritual ends up being affected. Right? Hakarov l'ruchniot margeta ochel. A person feels closer to spirituality. Everything they eat suddenly takes on is difficult. Right? It's like it's a burden on them. Until a person prays that Torah enters inside them, they should pray that they don't overdo the physical pleasures of this world. Okay, you've got to make a choice. Too much physicality, too much space. It's got to be a nice balance. Right? Too much physicality, the spirituality is going to be pushed out. It can't be all spiritual because you'll die. You need some physical. There's got to be a balance, basically. Right? The soul needs a balance. You've got to eat in order to live. Or do you live to eat?
So he's saying that people who are physical people don't.
He's going through an idea. He hasn't reached his end of yet. He's like, what does Rashi mean when he says, "Oh, you overeat, right? You're able to eat more and don't feel disgusted." Because some people eat during the week and eat lots and don't feel disgusted. So it can't be the body we're talking about. It must be the soul. Okay, the soul is affected by what you eat. Right? Your personality is affected, one second, by what you eat. That's what he's saying so far. And he's like, why would that be? Because if you overdo the physicality and it's all physical, then your soul doesn't get a chance to shine through. You just think about physical things. But it can't be the opposite extreme. If you just think about spirituality and you don't eat, you die. Right? So you've got to find some balance. Food, this is the whole topic in of itself, is one of the few physical pleasures we have that you need in order to live. Without it, your body separates from your soul. You die. So there's got to be a balance. Okay. So he's like, I tell you what, he's giving Peshat in Rashi. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like it could be also an analogy, like not even necessarily food, just like just to not indulge yourself in like everything.
I think absolutely. He's 100%. He's using food as the analogy, a metaphor for all physicality.
Right.
Yeah.
So like, yes, you could eat a lot if you're really hungry, which is totally acceptable. But like going out of your way to like shop for more things that you don't need and like just like more things, not necessarily.
He's talking over indulgence in the physical.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he's using it as a metaphor. But it's a literal thing too, because we end up eating. It's the mitzvah eating on Shabbat as well.
Right.
Let me just finish this point, and maybe we'll make sense of it. It's a difficult point, but it's a beautiful one. Achen, he says, b'Shabbat shezocha li'en ruchniut. Since on Shabbat you merit a higher spiritual existence, the karov yoter aleya, and you're closer to the spiritual world. Ein ha'achila morida umafriya nefesh. You see, during the week, when you overindulge, your whole spiritual being ends up being put down. You know, I'm stuffing my face and I forget about everything else. You know, I drink too much and I become, like a bum. He's saying on Shabbat, since you're given this extra soul, again, he's giving Peshat in Rashi, it works the other way around. Ela adarabba, which means it's the exact opposite. He, mahave kli ruchniot, your soul becomes, your body becomes a clear vessel for spirituality. Right? Your body itself. Ad shemekayim mitzvot onek Shabbat. Until you fulfill the mitzvah onek Shabbat. So he's like, what's amazing is that you're able to eat and drink more, but you're in a state of joy and happiness, so it doesn't become like a disgusting thing. You're actually elevating your neshama by doing it. Okay, eating and drinking and a little bit more extra. It shouldn't be overindulgence. That's an aveira in and of itself, which unfortunately we're all guilty of a lot of the time, right? But overindulgence during the week, it just makes you feel gross, you know. Here, overindulgence, you feel it. Why? Because your neshama is allowing yourself to enjoy it. So now your body is serving your soul rather than the other way around. Your soul takes on a higher precedent level on Shabbat and you start to feel it. That's what he's saying. All right? However you want to understand that, that's his pshat of Rashi. You can take it or leave it. But that's what he's trying to understand why it should be that on Shabbat it's different. Because you feel good, you feel spiritual, and the more I eat, it doesn't push me down, it actually lifts me up. It's a very nice idea, I think. Yeah? Look, you can't, one should not, there's an avera to overeat. One of the things we say in Yom Kippur, we do shiva for, is achilat gasa. Achilat gasa is overeating. Right? Now again, overeating in those days, in days of Rashi, literally had like an extra, like, you know, potato, maybe. You know, that was like, for them. For us, it's, you know, an entire chicken or something, or half a steak. Right? You can only imagine. But people literally, you know, people like literally did not have anything to eat. They used to literally put away any food they have until Shabbat, and that would be their one day of quote-unquote overindulging. You know what I'm saying? People were like dying of malnutrition. This was like, you know, besides other diseases they had to deal with. Right? Most people, you know. So he's saying on Shabbat. So the overindulgence he's talking about is not the overindulgence that we get involved in. Literally, your Monday morning breakfast is probably more than they had, like, you know, the entire week. You know, literally that's what it was like. So when he's talking, but still, where we are right now is how you have to understand it. And whatever overindulgence means to us, that you can't do. There is more, however, you are expected to eat and enjoy more food on Shabbat. And, if you are of the age, more alcohol as well. Actually, the Chofetz Chaim says that a person should, you know. The Vilna Gaon does say, I once read this inside, that people use Shabbat as a excuse, a gateway to overindulge and to overdrink. He says that's already an Aveira. He says that's the Yetzer Hara, he says. You know, again, what was the Vilna Gaon extra eating? Like I had an extra bean or something, I don't know. Right? But whatever, the way we understand it. And he says, really, you should not be, it's not an excuse to like eat everything, you know? We should have extra things, right? Whatever you are at your level. People say to me, you know, can I keep my diet on Shabbat? And the answer is, yeah. Right? You can. You don't have to eat everything. And whenever you taste, you don't have to eat the whole entire thing. Right? Take a bite of a cookie or a bite of cake or leave dessert out. You could do that. You know, as long as you enjoy, you should have something, there should be something extra. Oh, and by the way, there should be something hot. You must eat something hot on Shabbat. Even if it's like a cup of hot tea. Okay? That is, anyone know why we do that? Why is that a mitzvah to eat a hot food on Shabbat? You got very nice cold foods. Why is there a mitzvah to eat a hot food on Shabbat? It's not so related to this, but it's interesting. So we're talking about eating, yeah?
Maybe like, I don't know, like I'm trying to make a metaphor, maybe it like warms your body and like Shabbat.
You've been learning very well in my class, Rachel Nass. That's not the reason, but that's a very nice idea. Yeah. Very nice. Nice. It could be. It could be. No, anybody else know why we have to eat? You must eat something hot on Shabbat. It's actually a political statement. What do I mean by a political statement? Eat a hot food or drink a hot food on Shabbat. It is a rabbinic mitzvah as a political statement. Why would you want to make a political statement by eating hot food on Shabbat? Yeah?
Maybe royalty had hot food, then you want to do royal on Shabbat.
This is all very nice. This is a good word. You're saying good. That's not the reason. You're saying good, Rachel. Yeah?
I think that I remember you talked about this one, so there's a group of people that believe that you shouldn't use fire
Right.
at all on
The
Shabbat.
Karaites. The Karaites used to read the Bible literally. The word Karaites, Karaim, from the word Kra. They would read the Torah and only not the Talmud. And the Torah says, Lo tavro ish b'moshe v'seichem, do not make a fire in your house. They're like, oh, we don't listen to the rabbis. The Torah says, don't eat hot food, don't make a fire in your house on Shabbat. That means you cannot have a fire in a Shabbat. So they would sit on Shabbat in the cold, in the dark, being pretty miserable. Which is why they don't really exist anymore. Although, I did get an email from a Karaite in California, obviously, right? About 4 years ago, asked me a bunch of questions, mostly, you know, shouting me for being a Pharisee. But there are still a group, obviously California. I was like, hello, it's like obvious. Very interesting. Actually, I thought they were. They're not. They accept patrilineal descent. So most of them I looked into. They actually got a website. Look them up. Most of them are not even Jewish, and they do very unusual things, and they're very contradictory. They do certain things that we do, like what we call rabbinic Judaism, right? Like wearing tefillin. Where does the Torah say a person should wear tefillin? Bein einechem, between your eyes. Point between your eyes. That's between your eyes. Anywhere where tefillin over there? No, it means above your hairline, where it is or where it used to be, but between your eyes this way. Nobody wears tefillin over here. Yet they wear tefillin put up here.
And they don't use lights, right?
They will not use lights on Shabbat. Although even that nowadays they've changed. It's just some weird cult, right? But historically it was a really powerful movement. There used to be a big problem. You go back, they find ketubot, ketubas that were actually written between regular observant Jews, rabbinic Jews, and Karaites.
Have you heard of Leitz Tahor?
Isn't that like a
No, that is very, very different.
It's really
That's something else. That is a
I saw a documentary on them. I literally had a bad
that is a cult. That is a
bad dream at night.
What is
It's a cult.
no, it's a Jewish cult by a very charismatic individual.
What is it called? Wait, what are they called? Yeah, they still live in Montreal.
That's right. They're Canadian, and then they moved to like Guatemala.
I know they used to be.
They did.
They don't
They
wash
did.
They don't
They-
ever take
They don't eat chicken.
clothes off their kids because it's not seen so their babies aren't washed ever. It's like illegal. Like
It's a weird, freaky cult.
It's really weird.
What's it called?
And like you see them in Israel all the time. Like
They're really crazy. The Israeli ones, they are bonkers.
you see them. I saw
Totally
they-
doolally.
I think they're Arab.
I know.
The ring is full of burgers.
How do you
They are.
spell it?
and they wear like a veil over their eyes. And the name is not what it is. Like Leitz Tahor is like a pure, not like their. It's really sad. Whatever.
That's different too. Karaites removed the oral law completely. All they did was Torah, and there was a big fight. Look in the Gemara. There are fights between the Karaim and the what they call the Pharisees, the Perushim. They're the ones who separate themselves from from Tum and Tahara actually, but that's what we are, right? Rabbinic Judaism, as we say. And so there's a mitzvah to eat some hot food as a statement against them, saying you can't make a fire in your house on Shabbat, but you can use a fire that was lit Erev Shabbat. That is not a problem.
I don't know if this is a stupid question, but is there a connection to the color black?
And what?
Like I'm looking this up, whatever, but all of them are wearing, everything they wear is black. So
Because colors are inappropriate.
Colors are seen right. Any color is seen inappropriate. Listen, there's a little bit of truth to everything they say. That's why in the Haredi world they wear black. Right? You don't have to. There's no halacha thou to wear black. They say you shouldn't wear colors that are too attracting. As my wife always says, you can be attractive, you can't be attracting. That's the difference. Tell about the leaf to hold. How'd you do that to me?
Sorry, it gave me a bad dream, and I. Always,
Don't worry, they're not going to take you away in the middle of the night, put a burqa on your head. Don't worry about it, you'll be fine. If they do, be very funny about them. Just saying. Just make sure you send me
In the
emails.
documentary, they ask like,
Oh, what do you want to be when you grow up, and how old are you? And they look at their Rebbe and they don't know the answer. It's really scary.
They're in Guatemala.
I saw the
now,
documentary.
too. They don't have stuff. They got kicked out.
I saw that they got kicked out there as well, I think.
Yeah, they got
They
kicked
went to
out
Guatemala
Guatemala.
like last year on the global health trip.
They got kicked out Guatemala.
Where'd they get kicked out?
Everywhere
What
they
do
go.
you mean they got kicked out? Essentially.
Authorities kicked them out
Wait, why'd
Why
they
were
get
they
kicked
doing
out?
because they thought they were an abusive cult,
it is abusive.
They were either
and they didn't want them in the country. Like America, they'd be like, protest all the Jews, let them stay. Over there, like, get out, that's the end of it. Imagine that. That's how those countries operate. They ain't messing around.
The global health trip last year, not like we learned
The what?
from them.
What?
Like YU has a global health trip,
Uh-huh.
right? But like certain kids like YU boys also go on whatever. So we were considering like just seeing their site, like obviously like not like learning anything from them, just like it's like
What, to go visit them?
it wasn't my idea. We were saying it was.
So you
like,
went?
No, we didn't. We ended up. It
We're
got
going to like a
voted
Japanese tourist taking pictures of them. What are we going to do?
It got voted off, but then it's like yeah, they have like a tourist site in Guatemala.
It's like Woodbury Commons. Just go there, take pictures of everything. Just go take pictures of them too. It's like...
It's like really scary. Yeah.
There have been many, many cults and sects within Judaism, you'd be surprised. But not as many as Christianity. Christianity's got way more. Right? We've had like 4 or 5, you know what I'm saying? They've had thousands. Well, now we have various divisions among the Jewish people in terms of religious observance. Different groups within the Jewish world today. Not cults, no. No. Okay. But there have been many cults that started that way. Or Christianity, actually. That started as a Jesus cult, so that wasn't really Jews, but it was a Jesus cult before it started coming to a full religion. Right? There are messianic cults right through Jewish history. Right?
No, but now?
Nowadays, we have any. I consider this one to be one.
Do you think most Christians know Jesus and do it?
Yes, they do. I think.
Yeah, a lot do.
I don't think they care, really.
What?
Okay.
What?
That's Haji's classes. Put a stone in the no. We went on tangents, and I just felt like I was just thrown under the bus, and no one cares about me. And why does Rabbi Haji not stop these digressions? And I've had that before, actually. Okay. I'm done. I'm cooked.
We'll miss you.
I'm done. Have a wonderful Chag Kasher V'Sameach. Have a wonderful Pesach. I'll see you, God willing, the Monday after Passover. Welcome.
Rabbi.